Jr. Now, in addition to 101.1 FM radio, you can get us at our website. It is rcistlucia.com, rcistlucia.com. And, of course, you can also download all our previous shows on that website. We are also streaming live on YouTube. And, again, for those of you who were traditionally following us on Facebook, you need to search for us on YouTube now, and of course be sure to subscribe to that Radio Caribbean International page so you can keep us locked on and you can get those notifications when we come on. So again, you can check us out on YouTube as well. We're streaming there live. And if you want to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, the number to do so is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. And we are also on WhatsApp. You can be reached on WhatsApp as well. That number is 724-0008. You can call in or you can message us as well on WhatsApp. Again, that number is 724-0008. Now, quite a few birthday wishes for today, greetings for today. First going out to my very good friend, Mr. Fidel Chad Auguste. Happy birthday to you, sir, and hope that you're having a fantastic day. I know you already are having a fantastic day. Hopefully we can catch up later. Also, another very good friend of mine, Mr. Jason McFarlane, is celebrating his birthday today, and welcome back to St. Lucia. I know you're visiting, and we do hope that you're having a fantastic day. And also to Mr. Morris Compton, another bonjour of mine, and he is celebrating his birthday as well today. Happy birthday to you, Morris, and we do hope that you're having a splendid and fantastic birthday celebration. Also, Mr. Ignatius Tyson, better known as the Mighty Invader, he is celebrating his special day today, and we're wishing him a wonderful day and, of course, a fantastic season. We know Christmas is special to him, and all the wonderful music that he has provided for us for this time of year, and of course for Calypso and Carnival as well. And another individual from St. Mary's College who has come on the music scene of late, he's celebrating his birthday today as well. And so a big birthday celebration for Mr. Sidel Simei. Happy birthday to you, sir. And we do hope that you're having a fantastic birthday. Hope you enjoy it to the max. And if you've been wondering why there's so many performers and singers who are celebrating on this day, it might be because it's also would have been the birthday of Frank Sinatra as well as Dionne Warwick. And so, of course, you'll be celebrating it with them. And a gentleman by the name of Bob Barker, who died quite recently, the former host of The Price is Right, who in fact died just this year at a very good old age. Now, today is also Universal Health Coverage Day, so we're going to be speaking a little bit about that in a little bit. But first, some history for today. In the year 1901, Guglielmo Marconi sent the first transatlantic radio signal, and that happened from Portslade in Cornwall in the United Kingdom, and that was heard back across in Newfoundland in Canada. In the year 1925, the last Qajar Shah of Iran was deposed, and a new Shah, Reza Shah Pahlavi, took over. In 1946, on this day, the United Nations accepted 6 Manhattan blocks as a gift from John D. Rockefeller Jr., and of course that became later on the home of the United Nations headquarters in New York. In the year 2000, the United States Supreme Court released its 5-4 decision in the Bush versus Gore matter, settling the recount dispute in Florida's 2000 presidential election in George Bush's favor, and thus handing him the presidency over Al Gore. 2015, on this day, at COP21, the Climate Change Summit in Paris reached a deal between 195 countries to limit the rise in the global average temperature to less than 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. In fact, today is the final day of COP28. And in 2019, on this day, British general election was won by Boris Johnson's Conservative Party in a landslide win with 80 seats, majority. And also the Scottish National Party, SNP, won 48 of the 59 seats in Scotland during that 2019 general election. We now move on to our dish of the day. The daily dish is brought to you the kind compliments of our good friends at Tiles Plus.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. Did all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also black dust and vanity. Box, dust, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Lunchroom in Castries, Bosses, Grozile, and Clark Street in Viewfort. Telephone number 453-7939.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. And of course, this is our final program for the year, for the season. And so it's a good opportunity to wish everybody a very happy Christmas. And hopefully we will be seeing you in a bright and prosperous new year. It is, of course, also tomorrow, the St. Lucy's Day, or the feast day, national day here in St. Lucia. And so this evening, the traditional Festival of Lights is going to be kicking off, being lit at the Derek Walcott Square. And that activity, no doubt, will draw lots of individuals who will be coming out to enjoy the bright lights and the various activities, the lantern competitions that, of course, are very much part of that celebration. So we do hope that all goes well for that, and, of course, for the actual National Day, which has always been a big debate over the years, whether we should still have a National Day. And it was originally supposed to have been the date for independence. Of course, that didn't happen, and so we will be seeing Independence 45 being celebrated next year on the 22nd, and of course that's a big number, 45 years, and so we would no doubt have to wait to hear the events coming up and the various calendar schedule of activities for independence next year. Now, today, the Parliament is meeting in St. Lucia, and some matters up include the submission of Invest St. Lucia's annual report for the year 2021. Also, some contingent liabilities, in this instance, borrowing or authorizing of a guarantee, rather, for the St. Lucia Development Bank to borrow $3.704 million US dollars. That's the equivalent of about 10 million Eastern Caribbean dollars from the Caribbean Development Bank. And that is for providing a line of credit for student loans. And of course, that is coming through a government guarantee, allowing for that to be paid back within a 17-year period, 17, at of course, a different 68 equal installments over that period, and at a relatively attractive, very attractive interest rate of 0.75%. Of course, this is for a very, very good cause, and so it's almost a giveaway, pretty much, being provided by the CDB for on lending by the St. Lucia Development Bank to provide student loans. Of course, that's really important for our furtherance of that goal towards achieving one university graduate per household, and the bank playing its part in that regard by hopefully providing very attractive, very affordable financing to be able to allow that to happen. So that is one of the matters up for approval in what is likely to be the last meeting of the House of Assembly for the year 2021. Also up is climate change bill, and that is down for second reading, with the expectation, no doubt, that it will be passed at this sitting. And that is a piece of legislation that largely deals with establishing a means by which government will monitor the advancement of climate change commitments that have been made by the state. I assume this is part of a requirement for a number of countries around the world to introduce this kind of legislation. It makes provision for the appointment of a climate change committee, and also dealing with a national adaptation policy and plan. Also matters dealing with ensuring that we keep proper records regarding our greenhouse gas emissions. An inventory has to be kept. The matter of nationally determined contributions is another aspect within this this piece of legislation. And every year, of course, there is this commitment which has to sort of be renewed and indicated by state parties regarding this matter. And of course, today we heard about the Kyoto Protocol, we heard about the Paris Agreement, and this is effectively putting some framework at the national level, at the local level, in this regard. And also the matter of a climate change database. That, of course, is also a really important aspect, and dealing with issues of research on climate change and how that is being tackled, and also the text of these various agreements are in fact contained within the schedules of this legislation. So, for instance, the United Nations Framework on Convention on Climate Change, the Paris Agreement, as well as the Kyoto Protocol, which is really where it all sort of started. That is all contained within this piece of legislation. So, of course, really important that it is in place to ensure that we can see some movement and continued movement with respect to climate change. Of course, lots of promises have been made, especially in regard to the financing of climate change adaptation. The Green Climate Fund, of course, has been established, but it's still quite a challenge. For countries, especially small island developing countries. They have to put the frameworks in place to be able to ensure that this becomes a reality, and to ensure that there is that opportunity to be able to do just that. So let's hope that we can see this happen, and to work towards our benefit, of course, as a small island developing state. Now, on the matter of investment, and of course we just mentioned earlier on that the Invest St. Lucia is submitting its annual report for 2021. Now, also announced earlier on today is another matter of significant investment which has been worked out through the auspices, the offices of Invest St. Lucia, but the press release on that coming from the Office of the Prime Minister, and entitled as follows: St. Lucia completes development agreement with Atlas Group Company to build Caribbean Jewel 7 Wonders. And it reads as follows: Mount Pima in Grovesley is earmarked for a bold and transformational development project. St. Lucia will be home to the new and exciting Caribbean Jewel 7 Wonders. The proposed development project comprises 7 zones cascading around Grovesley's Mount Pima. Each zone at the Caribbean Jewel 7 Wonders offers a unique array of high-end amenities and services that includes a 480-room luxury resort, over-the-sea bungalows, villas, specialized clinical services, a wedding chapel, and what will be the region's first wellness retreat center by the award-winning international wellness brand, The Life Co. On November the 27th, 2023, the government of St. Lucia and Invest St. Lucia finalized the terms of a development agreement with Atlas Group Company to construct the Caribbean Jewel 7 Wonders. The first component of the project is earmarked for opening in 2025. Atlas Group Company is an international construction group and leading builder in diverse market segments. The company has a history in the hospitality sector in the USA and specializes in master development, satellite city development, and infrastructure projects such as roads, sewage, and treatment plants. The government of St. Lucia, through its chief investment agency, ISL, continues to attract foreign direct investment to the island to create new and sustainable jobs for our people and to open avenues for local service providers to establish viable economic linkages that will nourish the local economy for resilient growth and expansion. And that release coming from the Office of the Prime Minister, again entitled St. Lucia Completes Development Agreement with Atlas Group Company to build Caribbean Jewel 7 Wonders. And that project, again, within the Rodney Bay area. For those of you who still might be wondering where Mount Pima is located, it is that hill that is just south of Rodney Bay. You probably will be seeing it from many different angles when you come into the Rodney Bay area, and certainly if you're along Radway Beach, it's that hill on the southern side which is visible. And some, of course, would have known it as Caribbean Jewel, which was an earlier attempt at developing a hotel in that area on that hillside, with a few structures actually being built and operated for a short while before that property closed down. There have been many attempts thus far to be able to have a development up on that area. It's also an area that's currently being utilized. Some of you know that for segways and what have you. And so that is being earmarked for a hotel, a resort, wellness resort development on that southern side of Radway and southern side of Rodney Bay. And of course, the government will be looking at seeing how it can increase its room stock. That has been a matter of great interest over the years. And we've heard several, in fact, you can say every budget address we hear of various projects, various touristic-related projects, hotel-related projects, which are part of that budget presentation. That has generally been what is the largest FDI, foreign direct investment contributor to our growth. And of course, it really is important from that perspective. So of course, let's hope that it can develop in a very balanced way. And of course, the requisite environmental impact assessments and permitting, of course, has to all be in place for that project to hit the ground. Now, of course, there are a number of other projects that we've been hearing about, but we'll perhaps have to wait for the new year for the government to make some of those announcements and to give a sense as to how those projects are all moving forward. That's our dish of the day. When we come back, we'll be taking in some calls.
This has been The Daily Dish.
Need tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A plus. With all kind of tiles, come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gasway and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Lunchroom in Castries, Bosses Juguzile, and Clark Street in Dufort. Telephone number 453-7939.
And welcome back to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. And of course, the number to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, it is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. And we're going to turn to the phone lines at this time to take in some calls. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
Good afternoon, Mr. George.
How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad.
Wonderful.
But I heard the good news, but you didn't say how much they come in with, because Cabot didn't come with nothing.
Well, you you make a very interesting point there. From what I recall of this project, it was it had fallen into receivership some years ago.
Yes.
The land or whatever the development has been,
I was
at the time.
review.
It was then purchased from sometime during the
that went bankrupt.
right. So it
went
folded,
bankrupt.
right, and it went under receivership. And the former administration, during the time of the former administration, Invest St. Lucia purchased that land.
Shastney purchased that.
As well as lands at Shock, right? The Shock
and
lands.
all the land that border with it, they was buying as well.
Right. So that was purchased by Invest St. Lucia. And this new developer has since purchased that property. So they've purchased it. One can say, I guess,
So
outright.
if they purchase it, that means that Lucia have money in their hand then.
Well,
From whom they purchase.
they would have purchased it from Invest St. Lucia. so it would have been to the gain of Invest St. Lucia in this instance, or the state, yes, by extension. But
Yeah, but if they purchase, how much money they purchase it for?
well, that's also a very good question. We'll have to hear that from Invest St. Lucia. I don't know the exact amount that it was purchased for, but and I think yes, there should be some indication of that to give a sense as to how much, and of course. I suppose as well a sense of the development agreement. What is the extent of the investment, and how much is actually going to be invested in this property?
Yeah, because there is people that come out from Canada and other places. They come for investment in St. Lucia, and they use St. Lucian money and get away without paying a halfpenny.
Okay. Well, yeah, we have seen that problem definitely, and we have had that issue of a lot of times we don't really have good enough investors who are coming with their own capital, who have the wherewithal to actually do so, and so effectively we've seen a lot of situations where we have more land speculators more than anything else. They purchase property, and in fact we've seen in some instances where they get financing from local institutions to purchase the property, as you were alluding to earlier on. But from my understanding of this one, it seems that this is an outright purchase by the company that has been mentioned, Atlas Group.
Yeah.
And
what we know about Atlas Group, sorry to say.
Well, that's also a very good question. We would also have to wait to hear that from Invest St. Lucia. We could perhaps do some research on them. But they did mention, of course, that they have been engaged in a lot of investments around the world. If it is in fact the Atlas Group which has been mentioned, then it would be a fairly significant entity So we're not too sure because sometimes you have these names of companies and there are many of them that use the very same name. So I'm not too sure of which Atlas group we're speaking about in this instance. There's a significant one which I think is headquartered in Pakistan. I'm not too sure if this is the same one in question, which is $1 billion company, but we'll have to get some sense of that detail from Invest St. Lucia.
Anyway,
so it's still early days, I suppose. But what's that?
I say we have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and get some more information on it.
Sometimes we wait and see, and things that doesn't happen because that big company. How that company going? That would build that hotel in Srizel.
That's another good question, caller. I'm not too sure where that is at. The last I had known, there was. Remember, it was originally one Bulgarian company, and then I think
some people go to prison.
That seems like the directors or something ended up with issues in the courts, in prison in Bulgaria, and then.
Now, I give you another one again. When you're going up to Denry, that big Rodney Bay, the second they was building there with all these houses built. What happened to that? Poilin.
You're talking about Pralin Estate. Yes. So Pralin Estate, that of Le Paradis you're referring to.
Yeah.
Right, which was a significant development, golf resort and hotel.
All the way to,
it was over 500 acres in extent.
And everything.
Right, that's correct. Which was formerly Pralin Estate. It had been sold by a private family, a private landholder, to this company DCG, and they were developing this. Of course, the issue there was that it ended up in financial issues, and also the bank that they had that was financing it, was Clico Investment Bank. They also ended up in problems.
That land was sold for 10 million. And by the time those people take it over, it was sold for 20 million.
Well, so it's worth. I can't remember the exact sale price originally.
I there with you.
But it was basically when it's now legally under the Deposit Insurance Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, which is an entity which was formed by the government of the government of Trinidad and Tobago to manage the assets of Clico when there was this whole collapse of Clico.
But Clico collapsed.
So they still were managing their assets. So for instance, Clico...
And up to now, Clico owing St. Lucian
insurance
people.
So in the case of St. Lucia in particular, Clico had quite a lot of assets. And so they've held these assets for quite some time. There've been attempts to try to sell them off, but I guess in those situations they have a certain value on the books, and they want to be able to get the best value possible for that they can achieve. But from my understanding, caller, that is actually a very active project.
Yeah.
In that there is actually a developer that is looking at this property currently, and I would imagine soon enough there will be some announcement coming by way of again the government of St. Lucia and Invest St. Lucia regarding this property, the former Le Paradis property, in terms of development to occur there, which would be certainly a very significant boost for that East Coast, the Denry Miku area. So that is certainly something that is still, let's just put it this way, it is a lot more active now than it has been for a number of years. So I would say let's wait to see what the announcement is, whether in fact this is going to move forward. If it does happen, you see that I suppose the government too is going to be very hesitant to make announcements before they have some confidence that these projects are in fact on stream. But even so, we see that sometimes announcements are made and these projects flounder for different reasons. And of course, you did mention one of them, which seems to still have its challenges in the Choiseul area. Let's wait and see what happens in that instance as well.
Anyway, good afternoon, Mr. Josh.
All right then, caller. Thanks very much for that contribution, and have yourself a good one. Now, we're actually due to take in our weather report, so we're going to head across to Maureen, and she'll be giving us that 12 noon weather report from the St. Lucia Met Office.
Thank you so much, Calixte. It's now time to take a look at the latest weather report. And, of course, like you mentioned, it is brought to you with the compliments of Island Style Thailand Bath. We'll be back.
Make your home merry and bright with Island Style's massive Christmas sale. Our wide range of porcelain and ceramic tiles are on sale up to 50% off. And that's not all. Save up to 15% off. Bathrooms with bundle and save. The more you buy, the more you save. On gorgeous bathroom vanities, bathtubs, faucets, shower glass, toilets, and more. Plus, contractors and tilers are in for a treat with our special discounts on tiling tools and accessories. Sale on now at all locations. Castries, Rodney Bay, and Viewfort. Or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. It's time to deck the halls, deck the walls, or even deck the deck with huge Christmas savings only at Island Style.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And now for the latest weather report as of 12 noon today. It is the 12th of December 2023, and the forecast of this hour is Lucius Frederick. The forecast for St. Lucia valid for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing between the northeast and the east-northeast, near 16 miles per hour or 26 kilometers per hour, with the weather partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with widely scattered showers. A recap, the winds will be blowing between the northeast and the east-northeast near 16 miles per hour or 26 kilometers per hour, and the weather partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with widely scattered showers. Marine forecast for seas in a 25-mile or 40-kilometer radius around St. Lucia. For the Castries Harbour, high tide will be at 19 minutes before 3 this afternoon, and the low tide will be at 12 minutes before, or 14 minutes rather, before 10 tonight. For the Vieux Bay, high tides will be at 12 minutes before 4 this afternoon, and the low tide at 13 minutes after 11 tonight. The seas moderate with the waves 4 to 6 feet, the same as 1.2 to 1.8 meters in open waters. For the Lesser Antilles, it's partly cloudy to cloudy skies with widely scattered showers. And the weather summary, a shear line producing cloudy periods with widely scattered showers over the Lesser Antilles. This activity is expected to continue during the forecast period. And a low-level trough is presently located a few hundred miles to the east of the Lesser Antilles. This system should begin affecting our region by Thursday. So that's our summary again. A shear line is producing cloudy period with scattered showers over the Lesser Antilles. This activity is expected to continue during the forecast period, and the low-level trough is presently located a few hundred miles to the east of the Lesser Antilles, and this system will begin affecting our region by Thursday. That is the official weather report. You can join us again in the morning at around 6:30. Our next report on the station is due at that time. Lucius Frederick, thank you very much for the update, and the weather was brought to you by Island Style Tile and Bath.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Make your home merry and bright with Island Style's massive Christmas sale. Our wide range of porcelain and ceramic tiles are on sale up to 50% off. And that's not all. Save up to 15% off. Bathrooms with bundle and save. The more you buy, the more you save. On gorgeous bathroom vanities, bathtubs, faucets, shower glass, toilets, and more. Plus, contractors and tilers are in for a treat with our special discounts on tiling tools and accessories. Sale on now at all locations. Castries, Rodney Bay, and Viewfort. Or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. It's time to deck the halls, deck the walls, or even deck the deck with huge Christmas savings only at Island Style.
And welcome back to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. It's about 25 minutes before the hour of 2 o'clock, and this is our final program for the year 2023. Of course, if you want to call in to tell us about how that year has been, in your opinion, you can also do just that. But let's go to the phone lines at this time to take in some calls. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, yes, caller. How are you doing?
Not too bad. There's something that is not right about the way that this 2.5% is being sold to the public. And I think it is not doing fair justice for what it was and what it is entitled to cover.
Mm-hmm.
First of the thing, my understanding is that it is to cover costs to improve the health system. And secondly, to improve the security of the country. These two things of late have been very, very critical on Ireland. Now, I cannot understand that. I think the people that are selling it are not telling the people why. Who in St. Lucia that does not believe that we can have an improvement in our health system? Who in St. Lucia that cannot believe that we need to have top-notch medication in our hospitals and in our pharmacies? Who in St. Lucia that does not believe that we need a reduction in the waiting system that you wait to see a doctor?
Mm.
Who in St. Lucia do not believe that the St. Lucians require top-notch doctors? And I cannot see why 2% to give you better health. And I'll give you an example. We in St. Lucia, we have the Cuban people that take care of the eyes. They do a cataract virtually for nothing. That same cataract, if you go to Miami, is costing you for one $10,500. Now, I cannot believe that there's anyone that would want to go to a hospital and come out knowing that he has a second chance on life. Whether he reaches the hospital and he gets a ticket to go to Rum Valley or Creek. So the people, when the opposition is making an issue out of that, this is something that I have preached, that good health care costs a lot of money. And if we are having a fee, a levy, or a little tax to give you these kind of services, I cannot understand who in St. Lucia will say we are not deserving of it. And that has to be sold properly, because they're just saying it's a 2.5% tax. 2.5% tax for what? For improving the entire health system in your country. We would love to have a health system like Canada, like America, like Martinique. Why don't we deserve that by 2.5%? And if you look at on a salary of $1,000, it's about $2 and some cents you pay extra to get that kind of health care. I think that whoever is selling it, they're selling it as just saying it's 2.5% tax, and it's affecting this, and it's affecting that. There's no country in the world that do not have, and the people have not accepted a little bit more towards the health system. What I think we should be saying here as St. Lucians is that we must monitor that this money is going to what it was designated to. On the security side of St. Lucia, look at the problems we have, the kind of crime we have. If we are going to improve the surveillance, the policing, to lower down crime, that the average St. Lucian can go walk at whatever time he wants, live in whatever neighborhood he wants without being subject to crime, isn't that something that you want? Every country is fighting to lower crime, and everything costs money. You cannot lower crime without bringing in sophistication to the police force, because the crooks have sophistication. The crooks are always one step, and the criminals are always one step ahead of what government has. So I don't see the problem in me paying $2 or $3 more on my taxes to get these services. I don't want to pay $2 or $3 before you go and fix roads, you go and do nonsense like that. Because I don't know who wants to die. There's everything to live for. There's nothing to die for. So If you spend that much on yourself to improve that, and good doctors do not come cheap. Good doctors do not come cheap. Like every profession, there are good masons and there are poor masons. There are good carpenters and there are poor carpenters. And it's the same thing with the health system. There are people that are more gifted than others, but yet they're both doctors. So I am saying that they are not selling it right. They're just saying it's a tax. Say the tax, why the tax is put on. Who's going to benefit from the tax? And this is what I think that bothers me all the time. Because for health, I'll pay anything for health. Because I see nothing to die for, I see everything to live for. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for that contribution, caller. And of course, that was former Health Minister, Dr. Keith Mondesi there giving a contribution. And the matter of healthcare spending, health financing is really, really a very topical one. I was looking at some figures while we were having that conversation yesterday on the matter of health spending, and I'll share that in just a bit. But let's take in another call first. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
Good afternoon, everybody. An observation I want to carry out. You have these convoys doing promotions for some of this telecom and banks and everything, so going around the island.
Right. Yes.
They must realize, or the police must realize, that we have a single lane highway going around the island. You have people that's late to go to the airport. Or
right.
So I think they can have their cake, and from time to time, you just pull off the road. Because, behind these 5 or 6 bus convoys, the music, they have a line of sometimes in excess of 20 or 30 vehicles trying to reach to the airport or somewhere. So they can have their convoy, but still try to pull up every now and then and allow the vehicles, the traffic to flow. The other thing, you have a company that's paving roads right now. And going to the airport, all what you find at an intersection is that you have to detour. Sometimes you're late for your flight.
Right.
And they have no compassion on motorists and everything. So, thirdly, I've been caught in heavy deluge sometimes down Nico going up that way, and the road is unmarked. I'm thankful that most of the road is motorable in terms that it's well paved and everything. So, but equally, it's quite hazardous at night.
Especially at night, exactly, yes.
Yes, so I am asking the authorities to maybe, allocate some monies to mark the roads. Even the center line will be good enough. But sometimes you veer off the road, the traffic, the rain is heavy and everything, so.
Well, even on rainy nights, the lines on the sides are very important too, because you sometimes can't see the edge.
We're not asking for much. If you can see where you are on the road, especially the center line, for now it's good. And I want to say, I like to see what's happening right now with the clearing of the roadsides, the bridges, the work that's
right. There's an ongoing step.
Yeah,
I think
for
the week.
And for a touristic country, I know it looks well for us and them. So good work, and I'm asking our motorists and our people not to throw things, plastics and everything at the side of the road. You clean the side of the road now, and in about a matter of moments, people throw things out the window.
I mean, I was driving by yesterday morning in an area where they were clearing out, and it was just unbelievable some of the things that you were seeing. These individuals were pulling off, full pairs of shoes, and it's unbelievable.
Now what happened? They were saying that the stone that's in the water wants to come and land, and what's in the land come and water. We need communism down here. We need somebody for a whip on our backs. Want to throw something to whip you down. Anyhow, Calixte, you're doing a good job. Thanks, and continue. Good.
Thanks very much for that contribution, caller. And certainly, yes, there's some good work being done right now in terms of the clearance of roadsides and cleaning up. It's a significant problem that certainly needs a lot of management. I mean, the work is being done now, and perhaps definitely it's a very timely intervention, given that we're in the Christmas season, and it's also the peak of our tourism season. But you can see, of course, that it certainly gets really challenging in some parts. I know that, remember a couple, was it last year or thereabouts, there was a good effort by the Member of Parliament for Castries South East, Honorable Joachim Henry, in collaboration with the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority, I believe, clearing some roads in his community where you had a number of derelict vehicles just accumulated along the roadside. And you go back on that road now, about a year later, and I'm actually quite surprised to see the vehicles. I don't know where they're getting them from, but they're back again, more vehicles in very similar areas. And that causes lots of issues in terms of congestion and unsightliness. And that issue is definitely one that needs some good management, the environmental impact of these derelict vehicles. Let's take in another call. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Calixte. Thank you very much for taking my call and keeping up the good work for the year so far.
Thanks very much, caller.
You touched on a very, very sore subject there. Well, actually, two sore subjects there. One of the cleaning of roadsides. I'm all for the cleaning of roadsides, but then if the grass is not going to be picked up immediately,
that's right,
especially in the rainy season, I think the grass should be left alone. The supervisors, those who issue those contracts, should make sure that it's a highlighted clause in those contracts that the grass be picked up immediately.
In some places, you see them placed in bags, and so that they're waiting for pickup. But in other instances, for some reason, they're just put along the roadside, and that's where the problem is, clearly. And so I think there needs to be some standardizing across all these various, as you said, these areas where the work is being done, that there should be some very quick management of it. It should not just be left along the roadside. It should be, if you're taking it out, it should be bagged. If you cannot pick it up immediately, ideally it should be picked up the same day. I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, that's real necessary. And another one on the subject of derelict vehicles. I guess the authorities are listening, and you could probably help in passing it on to them. But how about having some kind of regulation to have derelict vehicles that are not being used for like 6 months or so, impounded and placed, somewhere by the government, because, I'm pretty sure in the more developed countries, there's not that kind of nonsense going on. You don't see derelict vehicles parked on the road.
And the road is a public domain. It's a common space. It's not your space.
Exactly.
You see it way too many times, especially the roadside mechanics who decide that they have rights over the road and they can just put anything there. That can't happen. That's definitely an issue. And I suspect they think they can get away with it by saying, well, it's just parked there, right? But these things are parked permanently, and that's the issue.
What I believe should happen is that the government, because wherever in the metropolitan countries is regulated by government or the city council or wherever government again, it's there for 6 months. It won't be used for the next 6 months. Let's get rid of it. You'll see, okay, well, the project is whatever. You won't get parts for it. It's 25, 30 years old.
Yeah.
Let's just get rid of it. It will store it for you. When you're ready, you'll pay for it, and you'll collect it. But I think
the Road Transport Board needs to come on board as well, Ministry of Infrastructure. You have roads, you have primary roads, you have secondary roads. There should be no long stay parking on those roads. And if it means that you've got to provide parking permits, for in some instances where you believe that there's no option for somebody but to park on the road, but it has to be properly managed. So if you know you have a parking permit, this person is living so-and-so, you want to have an on-street parking, then okay. But then it cannot just be a free-for-all where you can believe that you can park 10 vehicles on the road. Or however many you have, that just can't work. So I think they need to regulate this, especially on the major roads, our primary and secondary roads on island.
Right. Yep, certainly. Thanks for taking my
Definitely.
call again, Mr. George.
Thanks very much for that contribution, caller. Very, very timely intervention. And it's an issue that you see also in some areas where we have very narrow roads. We know that, and as the car ownership increases, what are we now? I don't even know, 70,000. The number of PQ plates we're seeing on the roads already for a letter that just came out. You're seeing lots and lots of vehicles, more vehicle purchases. And then, of course, what happens to the vehicle at end of life is also very important too. And unfortunately, too many of them just end up just literally cluttering the very same road space that we want to be driving on. And that certainly cannot work to our overall benefit. Let's take in another call at this time. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today? Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Caller, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. If all of those things are against the law, then why isn't the policeman doing their job?
Sorry, if all of what is being...
This thing parking alongside the road, like the mechanics just have cars park along all of those. Why aren't the policemen doing their work?
Well, I suppose they will tell you that there's nothing in some of the areas that there's no marking, there's no roadside marking to say that you can't do it. So it comes back to the same point that a gentleman was making, I think, earlier on about the road markings. So that is also another issue. The police have to work in conjunction with the transport board, and the Ministry of Infrastructure. They have to look at where the critical roads. I mean, obviously, if it's a street, it's a small road, you could perhaps allow for parking alongside. But we do see the problems with some of these areas because in many instances, people are buying vehicles. Sometimes they're not even living very on the road, but they may be living away from the road, but they're still parking on the road because they don't have a drivable route to their own home, and so it ends up being problematic especially in our suburban areas. And I think it comes down to how you manage these situations. We like things very loose in this country. In many other countries, you don't have these liberties. You can't park wherever you want.
And this encourages indiscipline in the land because everybody do what they want. People park where they want. People do their mechanic job at the side of the road. It's all kinds of things being done. And as again, I would say the policemen have to play their roles. Start taking a firm stand on all. Even on the street in the night, you hear people saying Friday and Saturday nights, around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, people are driving on the road like as though they're mad. The madness that is taking place on the road. Where are the policemen to park in the junction, the Union Junction, the junction by the roundabout by Leclerc? Because these things are happening almost everywhere. Can you hear people saying it? But yet, who is there to stop it? And to me, at the end of the day, it's the policemen that are there to look out at those things and stop it. But yet, you don't find their jobs just like all those cars park. At the end of the day, why they're giving people tickets on when people park in town, and why they're not checking on those things too? Mm-hmm.
And I think the relationship between the police and the community is very important too. And there was a good initiative, I think, former Commissioner Daisy, I believe it was, who was in fact going around the various communities, having these community town hall meetings. I think it's important that continues. I hope Commissioner Pelius Descartes takes that up. Descartes Pelius, sorry, because it certainly is important to hear what are the various specific challenges in various communities, and let people come out and give their feedback as to where they want to see certain things improved. So I think, but whether or not you have a meeting, but there should be that opportunity to indicate to the police, well, look, we want to see better management of certain aspects or more patrolling in our area, whatever the case may be. And or whether it is in fact also the formation of community watch groups in communities as well. That's another thing that can help. But yeah, we definitely have to be a little bit more mindful of the impact that we have we're driving for everybody, especially drivers, motorists. You're seeing sometimes people just stop in the middle of the road. They just and they're transacting business in the middle of the road.
I always say, if the policemen are consistent in playing that role they're supposed to play to uphold the law, people will start realizing that they cannot get away with anything like that. Because they're not seeing it. That is why they continue to do all of those things. Stop in the road to talk, stop in the road to do all kinds of things. Because they feel they can get away with it. Again, I will always say it's time our policemen play their role and start sending a message to people, letting them know that they are not going to tolerate this kind of nonsense that's taking place in this land. Because it's getting out of hand.
Yeah. And one can say certainly that aspect of the traffic division, that's a really important division. And maybe if we look at our economy and see how much of it depends on that aspect of what's going on, maybe it's understaffed. Once upon a time, it may have been sufficient back in the 1980s or whatever, but when you look at it today, we may very well see that we don't have enough resources to manage that particular area. And the expectations that we have for the police. I mean, look at, as one of the callers was pointing out, the police have to be managing, the traffic division has to be managing all these various marches, the road races that are going on, the marathons, and then look, you have these various activities. Commercial institutions want to put on these various parades and the various stops, whistle stops and whatever it is. And the police have to be present for that too. So that might be something to look at, though, as to whether, in fact, we have sufficient resources to manage the extent, the number of vehicles you have on the road, the importance of that transport to our economy. It probably needs a little bit more by way of resources to be able to achieve what you're saying in terms of the police being in different locations and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, I wish you all the best for the Christmas.
All right then, caller.
Bright and prosperous New Year.
Thank you very, very much, and many happy returns to you.
It's my month. It's my birthday month.
Oh, what date?
26.
The 20th. Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right. Your name should have been Stephanie. Wonderful, wonderful. All right then, caller. Have a good one.
Okay, thanks.
All right then. The 26th is the feast of St. Stephen, the first martyr, and that's why I just made that joke with her on that one. Now, of course, there's so much to be taking in. Just a few announcements coming from the Ministry of Health. They, in fact, are launching the oxygen plant is being commissioned at the Owen King EU Hospital. And that is happening on the 15th of this month in the morning. And, of course, that's a really important move in terms of being able to ensure the medical gases are available for Owen King EU Hospital. And also the commissioning of the secondary care facility at the former Victoria Hospital. That's happening next week, Tuesday, at 9 o'clock in the morning. And, of course, that has been announced for some time. But this is now the actual commissioning of that 30-bed secondary care facility to augment the ability to have inpatients being handled. Of course, the sort of the overflow, so to speak, of the Owen King EU Hospital to be tackled there. So, of course, we wanted to just note that. And, of course, also continued plea for individuals to make use of that income support program. You just have to go into the Government of St. Lucia website, and there should be that link available. If you want to apply for that, it's www.govt.lc/income support. And you can apply there on that form. And, of course, this is for individuals who lost income due to COVID-19, became unemployed, or received no salary due to long COVID, did not benefit from any income support program or economic relief program, and also for households with children aged 12 and under who lost a parent or guardian due to a COVID-19 related death. There's that one-time $1,500 per household payment that is available there. And of course, you can do that up until, I think, end of January next year. That's a $14 million income support program funded through the Caribbean Development Bank as well as the World Bank, and being instituted through the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. And of course, as I said, this is our final program for the year. So a very happy Christmas to everyone. And we hopefully can see, God willing, in the new year, 2024. Thanks to all those, of course, who've called over the year, who've supported the program, who've sent in messages. And of course, thanks to all those individuals behind the scene making it possible, Marine and Hyper and Keisha as well. Of course, unfortunately lost her dad recently. Condolences to her. And of course, to all those who are at Radio Caribbean International bringing you this wonderful platform. We do hope that you can continue to listen to us into the new year. I'm your host, Calixte Jr., saying goodbye.